meet our Muslim brothers and sisters, we say, Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. And they return that peace back, wa alaikum assalam. So Islam is about peace and about submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Islam is not just simply a religion. It's not just something you do 5 times a day and then the rest of the day you just go back to normal activity. Islam is a way of life. We should be programmed from the time we wake up till the time we go to sleep, that it should be a conscious effort to be a Muslim, and to follow and obey the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where we dedicate our attention to having that relationship with Him. Islam is to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with peace and intention. And the intention is to be rewarded and to be granted paradise, inshaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He created us only to worship Him. وَمَا خَلَقْتَ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That He has not created the jinn or mankind except only to worship Him. And finally, my dear brothers and sisters, Islam is perfect. Islam is perfect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. That today, on this day, I have perfected or I have completed your religion for you. And I have bestowed upon you my blessings. And I have chosen for you Islam as your religion. So from this, we take that Islam is complete, Islam is perfect, Islam is not insufficient in any way, shape, or form. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, خَيْرُ خَلْقِ اللَّهِ, the greatest of all of Allah's creation, it was narrated that he was standing up in the night prayer, and on this particular evening, he was standing for so long that his feet began to swell and to ache, and he was crying so much that he had created somewhat of a puddle at his feet. And when he was finished with his prayer, his beloved wife Aisha radiallahu anha asked him, Ya Rasulullah, you are already guaranteed paradise. Why are you doing this to yourself? Allah has already guaranteed paradise for you. It's not a question. It's going to happen. Why are you doing this? And he responded to her in such an eloquent and beautiful way. He told her, أَوَلَمْ أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا, that shall I not then be a grateful servant? If I am guaranteed paradise, shall I not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guaranteeing that for me? This is someone who is already guaranteed paradise, the best of Allah's creation. He is up at night praying to Allah. That is the true definition of how a Muslim should have a perspective on life. If you don't need something from Allah, then always be grateful, always be thankful. Ultimately, that is what Islam is. It's to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to obey His messengers, to believe in His books, to treat your neighbor like they are your family, to help the sick, to help those who are grieving. Islam is all about peace and community and love. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. So my dear brothers and sisters, in the first khutbah I spoke about what is Islam. And now we're going to look at the other question of what is not Islam, or what is un-Islamic. So as we see, unfortunately, every single day on the news, we see all of these stories that are being disgust about what Islam is, and Islam is a religion of war and terror. As Muslims, we know this is simply not true. And a famous verse in the Quran is that if you were to kill all of mankind, it's as if you, or one person, it's as if you killed all of mankind. And if you were to save one soul, it's as if you saved all of mankind. We know that killing is not okay in Islam. The violence and destruction is anti-Islam. And anything but peace, anything but salam. So we know that that is not Islam. Islam is also, as a religion, Islam is not oppressive to any group of people. Islam does not preach oppression. It actually preaches the exact opposite of oppression. Islam does not oppress women. Islam does not oppress people of different ethnicities, different colors. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave a hadith where he said that the Arab is not superior to the non-Arab, and the non-Arab is not superior to the Arab. Yes, we see these racial tensions in our community to this day, unfortunately. But this isn't from Islam. This is ignorance from other things. Islam does not teach oppression or racism. Islam is also not something that you just pick and choose what you want to follow and what you want to just leave to the side. As I said in the first khutbah, Islam is not just a religion, it's a way of life. It's how you do everything, from how you wake up, to how you use the restroom, to how you treat your family, to how you raise your children, to how you work and how you make your living. Islam is not just a religion. It's a way of life, my dear brothers and sisters. So it's not something that we can just conveniently pick and choose and tailor to fit within our lives. It should be the opposite. We should tailor our lives to fit what Islam tells us to do. Islam is not something that you should attempt to hide or conceal the second you step out of the house. Yeah, we live in a country where the majority of our peers and the people who live here are not Muslim. And sometimes that can be somewhat difficult depending on where you live and who you work with and who you interact with. But you should be proud to be a Muslim. And I say this because these are observations, these are issues that go on in our communities these days, especially with our youth. Some of them want to fit in with the rest of their peers and just appear like they're quote-unquote normal kids. Islam is not abnormal, is it? So we shouldn't try to conceal our Islam. We should be proud to be Muslim. We shouldn't be afraid or worried that our neighbor might know that we're Muslim and we need to be careful. No, that's wrong. You should show them what true Islam really is. You should show them what Islam looks like. You are the perfect example to represent Islam. We are all ambassadors of Islam. And if we follow it correctly, then inshallah other people will begin to see what the true Islam is. Islam is also not something where we can treat non-Muslims so kind and be so generous with them. But with our Muslim brothers and sisters, we come down on them hard. We're very strict with them. With even our own family members, we treat them worse than we treat people at work or people in public. And some people argue, it's the exact point I argued right before this. We need to show the Muslims that, Islam is good and we're nice people, we're peaceful people. Well, what about the Muslims? You're going to mistreat your Muslim brother and sister, but treat the non-Muslims better? I'm not saying we should treat non-Muslims worse. We should treat everybody with respect. We should be generous with everybody. We shouldn't pick and choose who we should be nice to and who we should be conscious of. And unfortunately, my dear brothers and sisters, we're living at a time where there is a disease, and that's called the progressive or the modern Muslim, or the progressive or modern Islam. And that's where you have people who go and say, that was 1400 years ago. We're not living under a rock anymore. That's ancient. That's old news. What is this? Where is this coming from? Islam is for all of time. The progressive Muslim is the one who wants to take Islam and to reshape it and package it into something that is quote unquote more appealing to people in society today, where it's not strange anymore. It sounds more normal to people today.